If I told you that gnocchi, that fabulous dish that you always order at restaurants, only has 4 ingredients, what would you say to me? I don't believe you, Sarah. Fantastic, delicious gnocchi is actually really easy to make, really simple, and it only has 4 ingredients. I'm gonna show you how to do it today. The first thing you wanna do is cook. I think this is 2.5 pounds of russet potatoes. You want the kind that has all that starch. So russet are baking potatoes or Idaho potatoes. Cook them in their skins so they don't absorb too much water, and then peel them as soon as they're cool enough to touch, but still warm. If you let them cool in their skins, they'll get soggy and starchy, and your gnocchi will be heavy and gummy.
Cool.
Those are all the tips I have. You can come back when we're done. See ya. This is a ricer. This is actually a really humongous ricer. They come in all different sizes and shapes, but basically it's something that presses the potatoes right through them, causing them to turn into the most fabulous texture. It's great for making mashed potatoes. Take your potato, place it in the hopper, and then press it straight through. It's fun. It's just like pressing one of those things through the Play-Doh, except for this is food and it's delicious. You could also grate the potatoes on the coarse hole of a box grater if you don't have one of these, or you could use a food mill. The potatoes need to be completely cool before you continue on, so spread them out on your work surface and just leave them to rest for, 30 minutes or something like that. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little time consuming, but it's very easy. So once they're completely cool, then you can add 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of salt, and then 1 egg. Just whisk it, pour it over. Oh, make sure you catch it, and then knead everything together. The egg starts running everywhere. Don't worry. Just make sure it doesn't run right off the table. Yeah. Knead it until it comes together into a dough. I have gnocchi all over my hands right now. You should dust your hands with a little bit of flour to continue kneading, and it won't even stick to your hands anymore. So you want to knead this until it's smooth but not elastic. If it gets elastic, they're going to be chewy and dense, and you don't want them chewy and dense. But how do you tell? How do you know? What I do is I just keep kneading it until I think it's ready, and then I pinch off a piece, and I have some water boiling, and I just test it in boiling water. Drop it in. If it stays together, it's done. If it disintegrates apart, then just knead it a little bit more. But I can see that they're done, so I'm going to stop kneading. What I do now that it's all kneaded, is cut it into 8 pieces. I mean, it just helps if it's in smaller pieces. Just take 1 piece of your dough, roll it into a rope about 1/2 inch around, and if you've kneaded it enough, it will roll and be really pliable, but it won't spring back. If it's not kneaded enough, it'll probably break apart, and that'll just tell you need to knead it a little bit more. Just cut the rope into 1/2 inch pieces. Then take a fork and place the tines of the fork on your surface with the back part up. Get a little bit of flour on your hand, and then roll the little 1/2 inch pieces down the tines of the fork to get that classic gnocchi shape. It's probably going to take a few for you to get the hang of it. They're really fun. This is one of those things, get your family involved. They'll like doing it. Kids like it, especially if you're not overly particular about how they turn out. You don't yell at your kids for getting them the wrong shape. Dust a baking sheet with flour, and then you can just transfer your finished gnocchi to the floured sheet, and then continue working until you have them all done. Now you just cook them. Add some salt to your already boiling water that's been boiling for about 45 minutes waiting for me to make these, and then drop them into the water. Don't crowd your pan. Don't crowd your pan. You can do this in batches. And then just let them cook until they float to the surface, like any dumpling or ravioli or tortellini or anything like that. And it won't take long, a couple minutes, and they'll be done. And they'll be ready to eat. And you'll be able to say, I made these. Just standing around staring at your work, loving that you made these yourself. That's what we try to do here at Everyday Food. We want to empower you to make things at home. Do you feel empowered right now? I sure do. Plus, just the knowledge that they're so easy to make is going to change your life. They're floating, which means they're done. Lift them out with your handy dandy spider or a slotted spoon so that you can cook more batches. Spoon some sauce on top. Don't forget the grated cheese. Ever. My favorite food of all time. And serve yourself up the best gnocchi you've ever had. Because you made them yourself. You made it yourself. Yay, you!